All right, let me just say this to start off. If if you know somebody doesn't know the result to a game, don't say anything to that person because first of all, the fact that it was a couple of my coworkers that they don't do their job that well, and so I'm stuck having to work even harder because of them. And then after I helped coach a soccer team, and after training today, the first words out of one of their mouth, Chelsea lost today. And the other one, yeah, they lost 2-1. And so this whole game I'm watching filled with dread. The only hope that I was clinging on to was maybe they were lying to me just to mess with me, which in that case, douchebag. So I mean, just Chelsea scores. I'm thinking, okay, come on, get a second one, prove they're lying. Dynamo scores. Great, they're about to. Hazard and Pedro coming in. Okay, they're gonna get hit on the counter. Oh, Willian scored. I hate them right now. I hate those guys. But anyway, Chelsea versus Dynamo Kiev. Um, they they played well. I it's been a long time since I can say about the whole game they played well. Uh, couple mistakes in the back, obviously. One of them leading to the goal, but overall, I'm pleased with the performance. And one of the things that really worries me is that the way that they're playing right now, or the way that they have been playing, even when they are playing well, they kind of drop off near the end and they start giving up mistakes and giving up stupid goals. When they got the goal against Liverpool, they started sitting back. In this game, they pushed forward, hoping to get a second one, put the game away, and that's what they did last year when they won the when they won the title. They got a goal, pushed ahead, got another one, and that's been the thing that is so different this year. Is that last year it didn't matter, and what I mean by that is if you scored first, well, they were going to come roaring back and get an equalizer. I remember I think it was the first game of the year against Burnley. Burnley got a goal on them fairly early, and then instantly, like within 10 minutes, two for Chelsea. And I mean, it was just every time that they would get scored on first, they would come roaring back into the game and equalize fairly quickly and possibly go on to win it. Or if they scored first, they would normally put a second one in, maybe put a third one in, put the game to bed until second half of the season when they would put a one away and then sit back and defend. But that was just Mourinho getting the result and not worrying about performance. But this year, it's if they get scored on first, well, they're probably going to get scored on again. They'll be lucky to get a goal to equalize. But if they score first, well, likely they're going to sit back on this and then get scored on, and then when they push forward to get the winner, get scored on the break, and then pushing forward for possibly to equalize, get scored on again. I mean, Everton, I think they lost 3-1. Southampton, they lost 3-1. Liverpool, they lost 3-1. That's why. They scored, and then they got scored on, equalize. Well, now we got to push forward for the winner. Scored on the break, 2-1. Well, now we got to score to equalize. Scored on the break again, 3-1. And so it's just been very frustrating to watch. So this one, they scored first in the first half, and they kept pushing. They kept pushing for a second goal, and throughout the whole second half, like I said, I thought the score was going to be 2-1 Dynamo. So every single chance they got, it was like, please score, prove those guys wrong. I want them to lie. So just they did push very well in this game. They pushed hard. They fought hard. Now, talk about individual performances, starting with obviously the big talking point, Mourinho. The team that he fielded, I actually am okay with for the most part. The one Fabregas and Costa, in my opinion, have not been playing well. Even against Liverpool, even though Fabregas didn't start when he came off the bench, the play really went downhill. I thought Even though Mikel came off, and I'm not a huge Mikel fan, Mikel came off for Fabregas, I still didn't want Fabregas in because he's just been completely useless this season, in my opinion. I think he only has one assist. Every time he gets the ball, he either gives it away or holds it and then loses it. Um, and defending, not much there. There was one challenge late on when Dynamo were pressing hard before they got the equalizing goal. Yamalenko cutting inside straight towards Ramirez, and we know Ramirez is gonna get the foot in to poke the ball away. Fabregas dives in, clips him, and now he's got perfect angle to serve the ball. So he's been worthless offensively. He's been worthless defensively. Not doing that well, and I don't know what it's going to take for him to get back to where he was beginning of last season. But he was great at serving the ball. And in this game, two corners that he took, and they both went straight to the keeper. He was great at sending the long balls. This year, he doesn't have the time to, and even when he does, they're a little bit off. So, it's really hard for me to say because I see that he's not doing well, but it's not like I have the solution. This is how you fix Fabregas. I don't know what the solution is. Um, and Costa, like I said, he works really hard. It's not even off the ball because off the ball, moving off the ball, he's not doing a whole lot of. He's normally one on one with the defender and just holding that space so the defender has to mark him, which is okay at times, except whenever Williams cutting inside towards him and he still stands there. So now it costs the defenders on William too instead of getting out of that space. So he doesn't move a whole lot off the ball, but he does move when the other team has the ball, if that makes sense. Like when the defense is passing around in the back, he's flying at him. He's putting high pressure, which is great. But ultimately, when it matters, when you want your striker to move and do stuff, he's non-existent. He's standing next to a defender whenever he gets the ball. He tries to do something and loses it, or just blasts it into the box when nobody's in there because he should be in there. So Fabregas and Costa are, in my opinion, the two frustrating picks for Mourinho this time around. But the defense, I like. They've got pace, so having Zuma in, they don't have a lot of height. So the fact that you can trust Azpilicueta and Baba on the outside backs because you don't have to worry about Carroll or Benteke getting up on the header, getting up over them. Let me just clarify really fast because when I talked about the Liverpool game, I said something about Azpilicueta not being good in the air because Benteke beat him he actually beat Kennedy in the air. And yes, I know Azpilicueta got beat by Carroll against West Ham, but I just wanted to clarify because Azpilicueta did have a good game against Liverpool, and that makes the fact that he got pulled out more frustrating. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify for my sake so I didn't look like an idiot. So the back was actually really good. You got a lot of pace in there to deal with their pace. Baba Rahman, I haven't seen a whole lot of this year, but when he has been in, he's been out muscled. He kind of flies around sporadically a lot, but he had a really good game. A couple of his passes were bad passes. Need to work on that side of the game, obviously. Although he did have the one to Willian that set up the own goal. But anyway, defensively he did really well. Yamalenko last game when Azpilicueta was in really gave. Azpilicueta kept him quiet, but it wasn't for lack of trying. It was just, he had to work really hard, and I'm gonna call him lovingly, as we all Chelsea fans call him, Dave, just so I don't have to say Azpilicueta a ton of times. Dave, he's a really great defender. He is, in my opinion, the star of this season so far. He's put in consistently good performances every single time he's on the field. And, honestly, I can't think back to one goal that I was like, That was Day's fault. I mean, even the one with Carroll, the fact that he got beaten by Carroll. Well, why do you have the shortest defender on the tallest striker? So even in that, it's like he gave it his best. He can't help the fact that he's short compared to Carroll. Um, but he's consistently doing well. And Baba came in against a guy that gave Dave a run for his money and did well. Kept him quiet for most of the game. He did get in a couple crosses, um, but even those were contested crosses. They weren't just free cross. He had to get it around Baba, so that was good. Having Zuma and Terry experience with youth and speed, uh, and I mean there was the one that you thought the guy was in, and Zuma just flies back and just oh narrowly nicks the ball. So I love that partnership, and I really wish he would stick with that more. And obviously, with Ivanovic not playing well, and you want height in your outside backs as well. So Bob Rahman's still not quite there yet. I understand putting Zuma out there, um, but I really do enjoy that partnership. In the middle, Ramirez and Matic, I like it. Ramirez has been doing very well recently. Every single game, he just works so hard, and even when he's making a couple mistakes here and there, he's still working hard to make up for those mistakes. Matic looking good again. There is the goal for them. You can say that he should have let Begovic have it, but then again, did Begovic call for it? So it was both of them. Lack of communication there. Um, and then Willian and Oscar out on the wings. I'm obviously I don't know what's going on behind closed doors there, but all the talk about Hazard this past week, and he really didn't play well against Liverpool. And Pedro returning from injury, I understand that, so it makes sense. Willian once again had a great game, and he's been playing very well recently. And Oscar did okay. Had a few misplaced passes, but he worked hard defensively and offensively, which is one of the things really when I think about Oscar, that's what I think about. I think about working hard both sides of the ball, um, because that's what he brings to the game. He always tracks back when he needs to, and he always works hard to get forward. Works hard to keep the ball. So, like I said, Mourinho's choices make sense in this game. Uh, I was really worried though. Okay, let's actually talk about the game. First half, a lot of pressure from Chelsea. High pressure. Um, Dynamo can barely get out of their back. I'm loving it, even though I'm dreading the fact that they might go on loose. Um, but high pressure, playing really well, moving the ball fairly well. A couple misplaced passes that nearly turned into counterattacks, but manager Ramirez doing well to cut the counterattacks off. Um, and then, like I said, Baba Rahman sends in a ball. I wasn't sure if he was going towards Costa or towards Willian, but it ends up with Willian on the far side. Willian does a little feint, drop his shoulder and go. Sends it across. Dragovic, not paying attention, doesn't know that his keeper's got it, tries to head it away, heads it right into his own goal. So, good start. And they really did deserve to be in front, even though attacking wise they were putting some good shots on. Oscar had one fairly early on that keeper did, it was right at him, and he did well to hold it. So at the end of the first half, there's penalty controversy. Obviously, because I'm a Chelsea fan, me saying it's a penalty will probably mean nothing to anybody who's not a Chelsea fan. But it really was, Costa's going, and Dragovic puts his arm into his back, and when you're running full speed like that, a nudge from the back like that can throw you off balance and make you go down. So sometimes that happens. Like a nudge will come in, or just a slight nudge off the ball, and they go down. sometimes it really is like you're going at full speed and anything, somebody pushes you slightly, it throws you off balance and you're down. So I don't think it was a dive. I can understand why the ref wouldn't give it because it did look a little bit soft. Uh, I think the middle ref, the center ref, was going to give it, but then I think the AR saw that there wasn't a whole lot of contact and said no, not really. Um, so I blame the AR on that one. But like I said, who cares? I'm a Chelsea fan. Of course I'm going to say that. So I was really worried though going into halftime that was going to be, they were going to go on and in the second half just kind of whatever. We should be ahead 2-0 right now. Uh, and then at the end of the game, if they've lost, if they've tied, well, blame it on the penalty. It should have had a penalty. Because that's Mourinho this season is, well, we should have had this, we should have had that, the ref should have called this. Instead of, look, it didn't happen. Go on, get the result. Keep playing well. Another goal will come. And even starting off the second half, Chelsea still started off stronger. Oscar had a really nice chance. Keeper was making several great saves. Willian had one headed, and I was like, go in! Keeper gets a hand to it, just palms it to the ground. Yeah, keeper was doing really well, in my opinion. I can't remember his name. It was some Ukrainian sounding name. But he did really well. Made a lot of great saves and kept him in the game. But after about 15 minutes of Chelsea pressing hard, doing everything they can to score, Dynamo started really getting into the game. Had 1 or 2 minutes in that first 15 where they really put pressure on Chelsea's goal. But then after 15 minutes, it really became Dynamo's game. They taking it to them, a lot of high pressure. Chelsea missing passes. Every time they get the ball, they just boot it, and now Dynamo's back at them again. I'm just like, this is not going well. And sure enough, 73rd minute, I think, corner comes in. Begovic and Matić miscommunication goes through, and Dragovic is there. Chest volley. Terry can't get in the way, and Begovic is struggling to get back to his goal. Equalize 1-1. And at this point, I'm frustrated. And now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was actually the 77th minute. Because I remember thinking to myself, you got 13 minutes left, and you haven't made one sub. Dynamo made one. Mourinho hadn't made any whatsoever. Like, not even looking like a sub. He had guys warming up, but not even looking to make a sub. And I'm thinking, why? Like, why have you not put somebody in, Loftus-Cheek because he works hard, Cahill to give yourself an extra defender, something to really, at this point, 13 minutes shutting down the game, that's reasonable. It's one thing to get a goal in the first half and then shut it down for the rest of the game. When you've got a goal and you still got that goal with 13 minutes left, it's perfectly fine to shut down the game. Shut it down, don't let them have anything, keep the ball, really build your defense so they can't get in. But he hadn't made any changes. And so when that goal goes in, I'm like, there you go. Make the change. It should have been made already. And so Hazard and Pedro come in for Oscar and Fabregas. And I was thinking Pedro should have come in for Fabregas much earlier. Just because Pedro works really hard to get the ball back and puts a lot of pressure on. And so when this happens, I'm thinking, okay, so he's obviously going for the win. He's going to really go for it, and they might get hit on the break. Not even 3 minutes later, just Hazard doing some moves. Just he looked good when he came on. He looked like not fully there yet. But he looked back to the same Hazard. He just quick little move, gets tripped up, and Willian, the free kick specialist, missed a few in the first half and one in the second, and just mishit them. They weren't in the normal place where he put them. They weren't They weren't dangerous at all. They were getting kicked out at the at the PK mark. So, but this one just up and over the wall, bent away from the keeper. Keeper not ready for it. Gets a hand to it, but not enough to deflect it anywhere. And 2-1 Chelsea. And then the only other change that was made was Cahill for Williams. So Cahill should have come on sooner. But anyway, um, but like I said, I mean, this is a good result. And first of all, it's obviously a good result for the Champions League because if they lost this game, and this is what was going through my mind before this game even started, if they lost this game, they would have been out of the Champions League. They would have been in the Europa League because Tel Aviv can't get points from anywhere. But they would have been done. That you could say that. Well, if Dynamo lose both of they're not losing to Tel Aviv. It doesn't matter where they play. It doesn't matter whether it's home or away. They're not losing to Tel Aviv. And so, I mean, this is a very important result. Now the big question is Porto, because at this point Chelsea's got them at home. I don't know whether Dynamo's playing them home or away, but both teams will likely beat Tel Aviv. I apologize if there's any Tel Aviv fans that happen to be watching this for some reason, but they're not Champions League material, and I feel really bad for them because this was a very difficult group to get put in. There are no easy teams in this group. They didn't get stuck with anybody that we could possibly beat them. Even Chelsea on this poor season beat them 4-0. But they still have to play them away, so we'll see what happens there. But I don't see them picking up points against anybody. But the big question is, if either Chelsea or Dynamo beat Porto, that will be the deciding thing if the other one does not. So really, still nervous, still not a done deal yet, but it's a big step to achieving what we want to achieve, getting further in the Champions League. Because at this point, getting in the top four in the Premier League it's not, it'll take a miracle. We'll have to win the rest of our games, and how likely is that to happen? So it's not likely that we're going to be in the Champions League by a top four finish this year. But if we can somehow work hard in the Champions League and win that, not likely either, but more realistic than getting in the top four in the Premier League. I mean, this is our last hope. And honestly, even just the fact that, one, we're barely competing in the Premier League right now, already knocked out of the Capital One Cup. If he had lost this game, if Mourinho had lost this game, I'm pretty sure that would have been it. Because not fighting for the Premier League, not fighting for the Capital One Cup, not even in the Champions League. What's the point? What have you done? Thank you for winning us the title, but this year you've knocked us out of almost every competition so far. So I think that's a very important win for Mourinho. Just so now the hopes are still alive for the Champions League. But that's about it for this review. I feel like I'm talking about a TV show now. That's about it for this one. But that's pretty much everything that happened. The main points. Good result. Good performance. Probably should have won by a couple more. Just they got very unlucky on a couple of those. So we'll see what happens match day 5. But we got Stoke in the weekend. Need a good result there, especially after what happened in the Capital One Cup. So we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys there. Peace out.